Morning everyone, back tuning into this morning's video. It's Monday at GazWeatherVids.com, which means only one thing, it's Europe Day. Every Monday at GazWeatherVids we have a look at the weather for the coming week across the continent, and today is no exception. I say I do it every Monday, that's not quite true, because occasionally I do take the Mondays off, and that was the case last week. I didn't do European Outlook last week. I've done a lot of videos and thought I'd give my voice a little bit of a rest, but it's back this week. Hopefully it'll be back for next week and for the foreseeable future as well. But if it doesn't appear on a Monday morning, it's because I've taken the day off to rest my voice. Last year, if you remember, I had quite a nasty cough to open. Some of that was down to voice strain, so I have to be careful, but I don't overstrain things, particularly while I'm doing the very long winter update videos, which I'm doing at the moment, of course. Now, before I get over European Outlook, just say about the ads. There's a video ad on this page. Please press play on video ad. You'll be able to support GazWeatherVids.com. Thanks very much for doing that. Right, let's get on with it. The website we're using for the charts, by the way, is weathercentral.de. I have a link to that on my links page. Right, let's get on with it. This is the situation across Europe today in terms of the synoptic pattern. We've got high pressure up over Scandinavia, stretching back in towards western Russia, and ridging going on into the east of Europe as well. There's this trough of low pressure out to the west and to the northwest, and the Atlantic is being blocked quite a bit actually by this area of high pressure. You have got areas of low pressure in the Atlantic, but the jet stream not really able to make inroads into that area of high pressure. That's probably going to be the case through the coming week. Here's today's upper air temperatures, and you see when it's very warm across many parts of Europe, or certainly very warm in terms of the upper air temperatures. It's cooler down on the surface. The cold air is really up across Russia, but elsewhere the upper air temperatures are pretty warm. But that doesn't tell you the whole story. Have a look at the rest of the detail in a moment. Here's the dew points. This is a reflection of what's going on the surface. It's a better reflection of what's going on the surface at this time of year. Under these sort of conditions, the dew points are really telling us how much moisture we've got in the atmosphere, and when the dew points go below freezing, when it's very cold down on the surface, you can get that even when it's warm aloft. So despite that warm air aloft that we've got across most parts of the continent this week, the dew points actually aren't that warm. Quite cold actually up to the northeast through Scandinavia and Russia. Elsewhere they're chilly through Germany, Poland for instance. So despite warm upper air temperatures, it is relatively cool down on the surface. It's only out in the west of Europe but it's a bit warm in terms of the dew points, but even there it is cooler than you would suspect with the upper air temperatures as high as they are. So here's today's rainfall chart precipitation forecast. Lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms down across Italy and through into Corsica, Sardinia. Some of those stretching back in towards the Balearic Islands as well. Going through to Spain and Portugal, it's mainly dry as it is down in the southeast through Greece and Turkey. Some showers around Ukraine and edging over towards the Black Sea. Some of those could be wintry, of course. And then getting further north and west, we've got showers or longer spells of rain through France, coming down into Bay of Biscay, just flirting into northern Italy, and some outbreaks of rain across the British Isles, which will be getting lighter and patchier through the course of the day. Central parts of Europe are mainly dry, as is much of Scandinavia. The temperatures today, well, look at this. Despite those warm upper air temperatures, it's not that warm. It's coldest in the northeast, with temperatures just into low to mid single figures at best there. Out to the west, temperatures are sort of up into double figures, just about 9, 10, 11 degrees, but nothing to write home about, really. That's about sort of average mid-November temperatures for most parts of Europe. So, yeah, the upper air temperatures at this time of year don't tell you everything. Now moving into the middle part of the week, this area of high pressure, if anything, is taking over up across Russia and Scandinavia. The flow is still generally southerly, so the air is coming up from the Mediterranean. Under both very slack conditions, it's going to get cold down on the surface, and what we may have to watch out for is mist and fog developing, particularly across central parts of Europe through the course of this week. Notice all the low pressure is being blocked out in the Atlantic. Upper air temperatures, well, it's going to be very warm in the west, lot with those upper air temperatures. Warm air coming up through France and through Spain, Portugal, into France, just trying to get up in towards south of British Isles. Cooler up to the northeast. You wouldn't say it's cold anywhere really in terms of those upper air temperatures. Down on the surface it will be cooler. So things are turning drier across central parts of Europe through the middle of the week. We've got some heavy rain and showers, maybe some thunderstorms moving over into the southeast of Europe. And we've got some heavy rain, torrential rain, thunderstorms maybe coming into Portugal. But elsewhere, lots of dry weather. Could could be a fair amount of cloud. There could be mist and fog developing under that high pressure as well. Frost at night, particularly in the north and the east. These are the surface temperatures, so it's mildest out in the west, particularly down through some parts of France into Spain and Portugal, where temperatures could reach maybe 14 or 15 degrees. But otherwise, it's just sort of 9s, 10s, 11s really for Ireland, Britain, northern east parts of France. Once we go further east of that, in towards the Low Countries and Germany, it actually turns quite cold, with temperatures just 4 or 5 degrees for Germany. And if you can see, it's going up to the far east and northeast of Europe. Actually, the temperatures are going sub-zero. That's probably in very dense fog, but go below freezing all day in the northeast of Europe by the middle of the week. We get through to the end of the week on Friday, and high pressure is still very dominant. Southerly winds being drawn up through the west of Europe. Elsewhere, very slack conditions through the continent. Look how warm it is out in west. That's very unusual for this late of year. 21st November, and we're bringing plus 10, plus 15 upper air temperatures into Spain, going up in towards France as well, and just trying to get in towards the UK and Ireland. Now, we're not going to realise that potential down on the surface. It won't be as warm as that, because, as I said, the dew points will create colder air on the surface, or there will be colder air on the surface, and the dew points are a reflection of that. The coldest there in terms of the upper air temperatures in the northeast of Europe, but it isn't cold anywhere in terms of the upper air temperatures. But in terms of the dew points, it is cold. Look how cold it is across eastern and northeastern parts of Russia. Bitterly cold under that area of high pressure. That's why we've got daytime temperatures going below freezing. Elsewhere, well, it is a chillier scene, much chillier than you would think with those upper air temperatures. It's just out in the far west of Europe, and it is somewhat milder. Around the Bay of Biscay, some parts of France, pretty warm probably in those areas. Rainfall is virtually universally dry across Europe through the course of the end of the week. There could be some snow maybe around the Russian border, but basically it's dry and fine across most parts of Europe through at the end of the week on this forecast. But it's cold in the northeast, with temperatures still sub-zero up there. Elsewhere, we're sort of into low to mid single figures, or mid to high single figures, I should say, through Germany in towards Poland. Going back, it's warm through France, temperatures into the mid-teens there, and going down in Spain and Portugal. Cooler for Ireland and the United Kingdom, with temperatures of around 8 to 10. We finally get through to the weekend. Not a great deal of weather going on this week, actually. High pressure is still very dominant across Scandinavia, still bringing up these southerly, southeasterly winds across most parts of Europe. Now, cold air is really starting to plunge down in towards western parts of Russia, possibly into parts of Finland by next weekend. Have to watch out for that. Could be the first sort of big freeze of the winter. But generally, it's chilly with the upper air temperatures in the east of Europe. It's warm in the west of Europe. Doesn't tell you everything. The dew points show that even in the west of Europe, where technically it's warm with those upper air temperatures, it is cooler on the surface through the United Kingdom down in towards northern and east parts of France. Well, even southern France cooling off a little bit by next weekend. But most of central, eastern, northeastern Europe actually very cold, or certainly cold in central Europe, very cold in the northeast of Europe with those dew points. Rainfall at the weekend looks like this. Mostly dry, though there could be some snow flurries getting going across the northeast of Europe, but otherwise mostly dry conditions, maybe some thunderstorm coming into southern parts of Spain and Portugal. And finally, the temperatures on the surface show that sub-zero air in the far northeast is intensifying. So we're having maximums of just -3, -4, -5 in the far northeast of Europe but next weekend. Elsewhere, well, we still have chilly air really across most parts of Central Europe. Temperatures for Germany, for instance, 4, 5, 6 degrees. Out west of Europe, that's where it's mildest. Temperatures about average really for Ireland and the United Kingdom. It's warmest down across southern parts of France and going down into Spain and Portugal. Temperatures in the south of France could hit 20 degrees, that's 68 Fahrenheit, so that's the place to go if you want some warmth. The south of France, you could get very close to 70 Fahrenheit towards the latter stages of November. Not bad at all. So in summary, well, the coldest day is going to be in the northeast of Europe. Elsewhere, temperatures through Central Europe quite chilly. Warmest in the west. And not a great deal going on. High pressure going to keep it fine, but I think there could be a lot of thaw, particularly for central parts of Europe. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.